All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadas. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS who taught me the truth. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect and the 1/3 on the brother Barak. The Lord willing, this will be another edifying lesson, right? And I want to make this topic about you're not supposed to be alone in this truth, right? Because there's a lot of spirits out here, they think they can just do everything by themselves, and that's not, they think they can learn the scriptures on their own. They think they can learn, they can learn these scriptures on their own, right? This is the book of Proverbs 3:5. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Right? Because there's a lot of people out here, they think they can just watch a couple videos, right? Read the scriptures on their own, which we need Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. First and foremost, we need Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to give us this understanding. But, that comes with humility, knowing that there's people above you in order, right? Knowing that there is certain men that have been doing this for way longer. And if you don't want to take heed to wise instruction, man, that can be a bad thing, right? You don't want to take other brothers' advice, right? Because the scriptures talk about, you tell a man once, tell a man twice. After the first or the second admonition, he's a heretic. And I'm paraphrasing here. And, there's certain men that have been studying the etymology of the word, certain breakdowns for way, way longer than you have. And you can have understanding way, way more if you were willing to listen. But you want to just be this lone wolf spirit. That could be a bad thing, man. Right? And, one brother in particular, a few brothers, they ask these questions like, where in the scriptures does it say we need to follow the apostles and elders? And he mentioned this to Brother Selah, and the thing is, man, right? The Lord had his disciples, man, right? And some of those men came back through reincarnation, right? Some of those men are alive today, man. Right? And it's because, the Lord set certain individuals up to teach, man. And this is Jeremiah 3:15, and it says, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding, right? So the Lord set up certain men, certain pastors, right? Sincere men to, teach the scriptures, right? And that's through reincarnation, right? You have, certain men we don't even know who were around, during the ancient world, right? But in particular, you have the apostles and elders at GMS, right? They're the ones breaking things down properly, right? And that when it talks about the mark of the beast, right? When it talks about the high holy days, when it talks about Jacob's trouble, just prophecy in general, GMS has it on point, right? And you if you're out here, just trying to study things on your own, watching a bunch of different videos, especially you're not on one doctrine, that can just be confusing, right? And ultimately, it'll lead to lead to your destruction, man, because a lot of these other camps are telling people, the mark of the beast is not chip, RFID microchip, which it is the RFID microchip and the forms that, that are similar to it, like the Neuralink, right? Which are all, an RFID microchip, right? It's a charagma. And, that's one of the most important things. Yet you have people going on their own understanding, trying to break it down, trying to figure it out on their own, right? And so, it says here, I'll give you pastors according to my heart, right? Which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So we're supposed to, get this wisdom and knowledge and understanding from other people as well. Certain men that are above us in order, right? Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he creates an order to things, right? So, there's a certain ranking, right? And that takes, humility to understand, right? There's certain people that have been around longer, have been studying longer for you, and you have to, you can't just figure everything out on your own, man, right? This book of Ecclesiastes 4 and 9, and it says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, 2 shall withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Right? So, that applies to this truth, man. Right? You need certain individuals to, how do you say, keep you accountable, right? If you're out here just following nothing, not following doctrine, not being firm in your beliefs, not being, you're all over the place, right? You're not, showing up to lessons, right? Not reposting other brothers' videos, right? Not going on the highways and byways, right? All these things, man, what else would you be doing anyway, right? But, that's why you need people to help you and bring you up, right? You don't, how do you say, we're not supposed to be just doing everything by ourselves, man, right? It's like, for example, you put a bunch of people on an island, right? And, you tell them you got to teach them how to, you just teach them how to play piano, right? There's no teacher, no instructor. Granted, they might figure out a couple things, on their own, but it's going to take them way longer, man, to just figure it out on their own, whereas if they had someone teaching them that already knew how to play, right? It's the same thing, man, We're supposed to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from, other men that the Lord has set up to break these scriptures down, right? That's why Yahushua had his disciples, man, And what did they do? They went on the highways and byways and compelled them to come in, right? Let's get that. This is the book of Luke 14:23. It says, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out unto the highways and hedges and compel them to come in that my house may be filled. All right. We're not supposed to, just be, doing one thing and, getting distracted by these worldly things, right? This should be your priority, man. Not to just, fuck around, man, play video games and, all these fucking, YouTube shorts, man, social media, right? Because all that shit is going to perish, man, right? And, that's why, you do these lessons, man, you do this work, it's you're sacrificing your time, right? And that's why the scriptures talk about, we're presenting our body as a living sacrifice, right? Because we're using our time that we could be doing other things, but we're using it, to serve the Lord, right? All these things have a profit unto them, right? These people out here, man, they just want to get distracted by the fucking NFL, NBA, nonsense, man, right? That's why you need people to tell you, if you're doing things wrong, people to critique you, people to tell you if you fuck up, or if you're going off. How are you supposed to do that? And I'm not saying those things, doing those things, watching those things is going off, but everything has a balance to it, right? But you don't have anybody telling you what you're doing, and you're just going off being you're a lone wolf or whatever. You're gonna get you're gonna get fucked up, man, right? That's at the end of the day, man. That just shows what level of humility you have. If you think you got everything, and you don't believe you can be taught under anybody, or you don't think you can learn anything, you'll just figure it out all by yourself. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to, feed the sheep of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? We're not trying to, one up each other. We're not trying to see how many more pages of the Bible we read, or how much more Hebrew we know, right? Because a lot of people think it's some sort of competition. But we're just trying to fight. We're all fighting for the same penny, man. Right? We're trying to just get the fuck out of this place. These how you say, there's nothing really important about this world, right? And it's we're not supposed to be just trying to we don't have that. You shouldn't have that carnal mindset. I know more than you. I know that, because that's the pride of life, right? I'm gonna bring that out. This is the book of 1 John 2:16. It says, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but it is of the world." Right? And if you're out here thinking you can do everything by yourself, and you already got everything, you already know everything, that's pride, man. Right? That's that is not of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? So I just want to make this quick. The Lord willing, it was edifying. Right? I'm gonna give all praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Kodesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect and the 1/3. Shalom.